Hello everyone, Tim here with Tech Muscle and back at you today with another SARMs video. Before I go any further, I would like to say that SARMs are not meant for human consumption. I am not a doctor. I'm not telling you what to do. Any of the above. If you do use SARMs, it's totally on you. These are available and legal for research purposes only. Okay, so there's my disclaimer. And so today, my video is going to be about injectable LGD YK11 SARMs. And this is the bottle here that I actually bought myself off of there. So you can see what it, well, when I got it, that was the bottle I got. You'll see similar online here in just a second. As you can see, I'm on the Unchained Sarms site. Right here is their new website. Okay. This is not an affiliate link. I'm going to post this link down on the bottom and another link to another company who has decent injectable SARMs. Um, but neither one of them are going to have a discount code. I am sorry. I don't have any discount codes, unfortunately. Unchained, their affiliate program's down right now, so I can't give you my affiliate discount code. And the other company I'm not an affiliate with, and they don't have any discount codes that I'm aware of. But if you've purchased SARMs, you'll know these are about the going rates. Anyways, okay. Unchained SARMs, they are, I want to say, by far the best SARMs company I've ever tried. They have a nice selection. I've had other SARMs companies that were very similar. I have a sneaking suspicion that some of them used the same factory because the compounds were identical. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so we're on the Unchained SARMs site here. As you can see, I mean, they have everything, not everything, but they have a lot. They have a huge selection. Okay, we're just in the injectables here. AC262, you're back. I've never used their injectable BPC, but I've used their injectable CJC. I used it with the DAC, which is just a long-lasting version, and the Ipamorelin, there it is. Um, and those are, if you don't know, they're human growth hormone secretagogues. Absolutely great. Okay, but on to what we want to talk about today. Okay, LGD 4033 and YK11 injectable. Okay, don't turn off the video. I get a lot of people that quit in the beginning. I see it in my analytics. So at least listen to this. If you have any doubt that SARMs are any good or have any type of muscle building effect or any performance effect, and you say, "Oh, I tried some Rad 140 and I didn't feel anything. I didn't get any gains. I didn't get, you know, I got to be honest. The very first time I tried SARMs, I didn't get much gains, but I felt some strength and a pump. But that was a stack, okay. And then the second time I tried just LGD 4033 oral by itself, and I'm thinking, from the reports, it's like, 5 milligrams or whatever is like and they're reporting like 10 pounds of muscle growth and stuff. Okay, I'm not saying any of these companies are underdosed. This is just the way it is. In those lab reports, I don't know what's up with those because I've never tried a company that has LGD. Not one of them has LGD that I can use at 5 milligrams and gain muscle. Okay, it didn't take me long, and I even messaged the owner from the first one I ever tried was Patriot SARMs, but very similar to Unchained, but much more. But this is the SARM that you're gonna notice. Okay, this is what I want to get my point across to you real quick. You are gonna know that SARMs are good and they work. They do work and they're good. Here's the thing. Well, some people are very sensitive to them. If you've ever done any type of gear or know anything about it, different people react differently to different compounds. Okay. This is a compound that it didn't matter what else I had tried. And I honestly, the LGD oral, I started to start at 15. I bumped it up to 15 and I started to see a little results for just a little bit. And then I bumped it up to like 20. And then I ended up going up to 30. And it wasn't until I hit about 30 milligrams per 30 milligrams per day of the LGD 4033 oral, and it was then I started to see, I mean, real results. There was some water retention and such there, but that's supposed to happen. But I started to see real results and a little bit of strength, a little bit of size. It was starting to actually work. And one other thing, my very first run with LGD, before we get into this injectable combo here. My very first run with LGD, I was not on any type of a test base. Okay. And I did notice it, but the second time I did it with a test base. And now just TRT. I got on TRT from my doctor. I had been borderline low for years. So that's why I got into PEDs to begin with, because my body chemistry, I couldn't grow at all. And I used to be able to when I was younger. But now, so I'm like, well, it's time to get enhanced here. So anyway, so I hopped on TRT, and with that TRT baseline in there, okay, as your LGD or a lot of these SARMs, they'll reduce your natural levels of test. And if you're on cycle, yeah, that's nice. You're going to make little gains, and you're going to PCT. You're going to lose a little bit, and if you PCT correctly, you'll hold some of them. But it's not that glorious, honestly. Uh, Now, if you have TRT, I'm on like 100 milligrams a week. That's like a really low. That's a low dose of TRT. Okay, I know it's kind of their standard protocol, but for a regular doctor, but that's really a low dose of test. It only put my numbers at like 500. Okay, so that's still not. I'm not even that anabolic yet. Okay, but just that. Okay, I had that base, and then I ran LGD-43, much better results, and I kept my gains because when I came off of it, I didn't have that dip where I had to go through the PCT, where my hormones dropped. It came back. I had to worry about estrogen and all that types of stuff. So before you try SARMs, this is not medical advice, but if it were me, I would get on TRT before I even tried SARMs and get it through your doctor. That might be enough for you right there. That might be what you're looking for right there. You know, it's a little bit of a strength increase. You're going to feel better. You're going to sleep better, have more energy. Uh, like I seriously thought I was coming down with cancer or something because I had such a power drain on me. I'd have to take naps, and I'm only 47, and I'm in decent shape. I don't take any medications, no heart pills, nothing. Uh, but I was like, man, something's wrong. So I went back. Sure enough, boom. This time I was deficient. They put me on TRT, fixed all that. That alone improved my performance in the gym and allowed me to start growing again, like when I was a bit younger, on even a low dose. Okay, so all right, there it is. The that's what you want to do if you're going to do it. So you don't have to. I'm not telling you what to do, but if you were going to do it, that's how I would do it. Okay, so say you've tried that before. Okay, I've done cycle LGD. I ran it like 20, 30 milligrams with my TRT dose, and I saw some slight gains. Little bit. Okay, I noticed something. My pumps were better. Yeah, that's okay. And LGD, they say, is one of the most powerful compounds uh, as far as SARMs go. But to tell you the truth, I mean, it's powerful. There's no doubt about that. But it is, in my opinion, the least or one of the least side effect free SARMs. Okay. Like I didn't have any aromatase. I didn't, my estrogen wasn't high. As long as I took, it's even fairly mild on the liver. I took even just milk thistle, 1,000 milligrams a day, had my liver enzymes done at the end of the cycle. Perfect. Off just milk thistle. And that was 30 grams of LGD per day. 30 milligrams per day. So it's a very easy. If it were me and I were going to recommend, I would recommend LGD as a beginner SARM cycle. Ostrine, to be honest with you, has even more side effects. LGD is just a very forgiving. Take a little milk thistle for your liver, and you should be fine. Stay well hydrated. Watch your sodium intake to keep the bloating down a bit, but that's it. And if you know anything about PEDs, that is like the bare minimum if you're going to take some of what you have to do. Like that's almost side effect free. So okay, so we have the LGD-4033 YK11 injectable. Okay, now YK11 is a compound that is far on the other spectrum than LGD. Okay, LGD is I'm sorry, LGD. It's a mass builder, but and it's a wet compound. Like I said, it's going to make you hold water. Okay, LG or YK11 is a dry compound. Okay, it's going to dry you out, and it's going to try and compensate for what the LGD is doing as far as the water. You're going to get a harder look to your muscles. It's I don't know. I got to be honest. I've never done any mast or what was it Winnie or anything like that. I've done S4, which they say is like weak Winnie, but it's stronger than S4, okay, as far as in the drying out, the hardness of your muscles. And one thing that I noticed immensely when I started adding in the injectable YK is the only way I've ever went. I've never done oral, and I've heard it's not as good oral, despite all the argument back and forth which way is more bioavailable. Try it yourself and see. That's the only way you're really going to see. Not on yourself, on your lab rat. So you just do what you got to do. And the injectable, though, in my opinion, is the way to go. Okay, and this is a daily injection. Okay, and it's intramuscular. Okay, I mean, if you're not into the needles, maybe the oral LGD, or even the combination of the two. But they're again when you start taking oral YK in there, now you're going to have to run some heavier liver protectant and pay attention to other stuff. But injectable, it bypasses the first pass through the liver. So it's not it's like 50% is hard on your liver. Even injectables do wear on your liver. Don't think they don't. Everything has to be processed through your liver, just not as much. So this particular stack, let's go into what it did to me. Okay, I started taking it. I'm injecting it. I started taking it only pre-workout. Okay, and I'd work out about 5 days a week. So I'm pinning half a milliliter of this. Okay, this particular one. Okay, a full milliliter of it is like 50 milligrams. Okay, and you definitely right here for 1 milliliter you get 50 milligrams of LGD and 50 milligrams of YK11. And if you know 50 milligrams of YK11, that's a huge dose. Like most guys are taking like 15, maybe 20. All right, probably not even 20, more like 10 or 15. LGD they're running anywhere from 15 all the way up to 50. You could pin a total of that if it were just the LGD, and they do have LGD by itself if you want to do that. But so you don't want to take a whole entire milliliter. Don't fill. This has no needle in it. YouTube, it's just a syringe. There's no injections going on here. But this is a full milliliter, 1 milliliter, and you fill it all the way up. Okay, just for volume example. The So you will want to take half a milliliter of this. Actually, you don't want to. Actually, less than half a milliliter. Maybe like I would start off on like just to see how you react, like a quarter of a milliliter. Like two and a half. Because they go up to 10 on the units. If you don't know about this stuff, you should definitely do your research before injecting it. You don't want to hit yourself with too heavy of a dose or too light of a dose, and because you didn't know how to read your own needle. But so that's a video for a whole nother story. But anyways, on a 100 unit or 1 milliliter syringe, basically you're gonna want start off on a quarter of it and don't go beyond a half of it, or at least maybe if you're a giant and you can take stuff like that, maybe. But I'll tell you. Okay, so I started off on just 15 milliliters because of the LGD. I thought that's a good starting point, and the YK11. That's really about the top of where a lot of people go with the YK, and that may be due to liver toxicity. I'm not for sure. Uh, but so I started off with 15 milligrams of both, which, like I said, was just a little bitty shot. I just pinned it right in my shoulder. Wasn't even a big deal. Uh, 5 days a week pre-workout. Started that within 2 or 3 days. I mean, it is that fast acting. Within 2 or 3 days, my strength started to go up, and I mean a noticeable amount. Like I'm like, oh man, wow, this stuff, wow, and again, I think I mentioned drink a lot of water to uh, help mitigate the ester or I'm sorry, the water retention. Okay, and to keep yourself good and hydrated. I'm talking like at least a half gallon, probably more like a gallon of water a day. Okay, which would be like what 120 ounces or something like that. Anyways, I think 128 ounces is a gallon. But you're gonna want to take lots of water for that, but also because I noticed right away my pumps became painful. Okay, and it was to the point to where I had to push through it, and I'm going, well, this is it's nice having this nice pump, but it's not because it's so stretched. It's within the muscle. I can't explain it. It's like your fibers are stuck together and the nerves are rubbing together or something. But if you stay well hydrated and keep it inflated, and that water in between your nerves in there, there's hardly any pain. So if you get painful pumps, okay, start taking a lot of water. Okay, be sure to take your electrolytes and such. You don't want to flush them. Be healthy about it. But uh, you know, start upping your water intake, getting those muscles full of fluid first, and then go work out, and that will take away the at least most of the painful pumps. The good news is that passes after about the first week and a half or so. That passed for me, anyways. Okay. And I noticed I was like, okay, yeah, I'm getting some nice gains already. Or not much, it's still early in the game, but my strength. I never had a SARM, never. Even in the stack I did. And it had stenobolic in it. That one really did it. But I never had a SARM give me strength like that ever. Never. And I know it was the YK because I had pumped LGD up to 50 milligrams orally before, and I didn't get that. And so I know for a fact it's the YK in there. Um, but strength, number one, you're going to notice strength like you wouldn't believe. You have to be careful on this. Later on in the cycle, I actually partially tore my bicep and my tendon. Okay, this was I don't know, about a year or so, no, 2 year and a half ago. No, it was last summer, almost a year ago. But it's healed. It was partially torn. I just let it heal up. I have poor medical here, and the doctors really are not that great in northern Arizona. So it, by the time they got me in, it was already done, healed, and the scar tissue was there. It wasn't a complete tear. A year later, I still feel it in this bicep. I just have to be careful with it. Okay, if it completely tears off, then I'll have the surgery done. If not, I'm running with it because it's something I feel I can work past. Since I couldn't have it looked at in time to begin with. But anyways, so be careful with the strength gains. And this wasn't until later on, and I was pushing it. Okay, I used to be a certified personal trainer. Well, I should say I am a certified personal trainer. It's just expired. Okay, I know what I'm doing. I know when I'm pushing too hard. I know when my form's off. Uh, I was doing. I wasn't even curling. I was doing 2 arm dumbbell rows. And when I was just jerking it so hard just to see how many I could get, and I was on like my sixth set of extremely heavy weight, and honestly, I was pushing as hard as I could, and I thought somewhat safely, but I knew I was pushing the edge, just to see how much strength and how much stamina. Because after the strength, you'll start to notice you have more reps in the tank. Okay, be sure you have a spotter or something, especially if you're on bench. But start playing with your reps in the tank. If you feel, because you can mentally get to say, okay, I got so much weight. This is when I'm gonna fail. 12 to failure, and that's it. 12 reps of this weight, and then that's my last one. Uh, you're gonna get to that 12, and a lot of time you'll think, okay, there's my 12, and it's pretty hard. It'll almost feel like that. But then try it. Go on, go on. Once you're on this, try it. Go on down for that next one. Be sure you got your spotter. Go on down for that next one. Guess what? Boom! Boom! Yeah, you got about 5, 6 more left in the tank now, don't you? That's where these compounds really shine the most. My bench went up on that cycle, went up by like 50 pounds. I'm not kidding you. 50 pounds. It was the first time I ever got 225 was on that cycle. And I got it for 6 reps. I can do it. I did it natty since I have a video showing me doing that, and that's why I said natty. But that was because I have muscle memory and I naturally got it back there. But I used the drugs to plow through that the first time, or the SARMs. They're not, I guess, considered. But yeah, see, they're mislabeled as a drug. So I don't want to do that. It's not a drug. It's a research compound. So, anyways, that plowed me through it and got me up there to break that 225. And then now, once you break that, I don't want to go into it. That's a whole nother video, but your neural pathways develop. That's really what muscle memory is, not actually the memory in the muscle. It's the neural pathways, the memory, and those pathways are developed already. They don't have to do that again, so therefore you grow faster. Okay. So the LGD-43, YK11. I ended up going up to 25 milligrams. And to be honest with you, 25 milligrams of both of those compounds, injectable, was too much for me. I could feel it like I could feel like I was going to blow a gasket or my heart rate was up too much. It was just too it was too much power within me. That and even on 20 injecting these, I mean, like I said, my bench was up by 50 pounds. I already had to be careful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was unreal. Okay. I'm going to go one step further and tell you something right now. I'm on now, excuse me, uh, my first cycle of test and D-ball. This stuff right here, so far, in my opinion, well, unless I don't know, I question whether how I'm not going to say bad, but how good this D-ball is. But and I'm getting results from it. But I can tell you the pump on this was more intense so far. Has been more intense than D-ball, D-ball and test. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Try it. Uh, and I know my source is good because I had a testosterone test done. I should have pulled that up in advance, but I don't search through all my files looking for it. But uh, I'll just say my testosterone. I'm on about I'm on 350 a week now. I was on about 300 then, and my test was at 1299, almost 1300. So, and I told you guys what my test levels are naturally, or even on TRT, they're only around 500. Here I am, almost 1300, and I'm only on 300. So I know the test is from same sources as D-ball. So the test is definitely good. So this guaranteed this will give you a better pump than even test, even a high dose of test. Okay, and the D-ball. And I'm even stacking a little bit of Cialis every other day, a microdose of Cialis every other day, just mostly for the blood pressure. But that has to add to the pump a little bit. So, uh, with that being said, this, as far as in the strength gains that I had, maybe not the overall size. I don't know because I'm still in the beginning I'm in the beginning of my cycle. I did the old classic kickstart with D-ball for my first run, but hey, whatever. Uh, this one is just it, it blows it away. This I got a better pump than I get off of D-ball. Okay, off of this, injecting 20 milligrams of LGD-43 and YK11 from Unchained Sarms, hands down. Okay, let me tell you something else. I have arthritis. Okay, right here, I broke my bone, like right here, like just on the other side of the joint. Horrible break. I had to be in traction. I was a kid. It was terrible. But I figured one day I was going to have arthritis from that, but I've never noticed anything except for maybe if I'm doing lateral raises and the weight hanging on my arm a little bit. I feel it a little bit there, but not nothing bad. But you know what? You know when I really noticed that my arthritis from the pumps. My pumps were so intense. My skin was just stretching. It was unbelievable. I was like, I never felt anything. Something's gonna bust here, man. I'm gonna bust a pipe, man. I mean, it was like, wow, skin stretching, and the muscles were so pumped, they were pulling, and my tendons they were pulling on. And if you know, the bicep tendon inserts actually up here on your forearm bone. Okay, so it's pulling on that. The pump pulling, just standing there pulling hurt like really bad because I was so pumped and it was just pulling and wanting to bend that. It was pulling so hard on my muscle, it wanted to bend my bone. You know what I mean? Not saying bend it, but it was putting pressure on it. It was pulling on it. It was so tensed and pumped up that tendon was just like, whoosh, you know? I mean, unreal. I can't say enough about the pump that I got from this. So far, the pump and the strength gains from this has been better than D-ball and test. So I'm gonna, like again, this is my first run on that. So I'm gonna try another source and compare and see, But like I said, I know I've confirmed. I know by blood work that the test is good. So likely the D-ball is good. I just think it's a bit watered down from what I've read, but we'll see. Uh, my gains have been okay so far on that. That's great. Okay, so the LGD-43 YK11. Going back to it. Um, and I think I ran this for I believe I ran it for like 4 or maybe 6 weeks. And what I did is I tried it two different ways. I I started this one in the beginning because of the what is it, the myostatin inhibitor in the YK11. It inhibits myostatin, which kind of takes the governor off of how big you can get. Okay, so I took it in the beginning of the cycle. YK11, you only really want to run for like say 4 to 6 weeks, for because it does dry. While it dries out your muscles and make them look nice, it can dry out your joints too, or I'm sorry, your tendons, which probably didn't help with me tearing my bicep. And oh man, that tendon, I couldn't even pick up a gallon of milk for like 3 weeks. It was horrible. It didn't tear, but I know it was close. Uh, but anyways, what did I say? Oh, now I lost my train of thought. uh, I don't know. The pumps were just phenomenal, and I'm not going to cut this video because I forgot. This is what I get for not scripting stuff. But okay, so here's the bottle. So I think you guys get it. Okay, and it can dry you out. You only run it for a certain amount of time. And I finished my cycle with the LGD-43 oral after that for like another 2 4 weeks or something. I think I did a 10-week cycle of LGD both times. But the YK11 was in the beginning in the one, or in the end in the one. I think it was in the end in the first one, and it was in the beginning in the second one. And that's because I was playing with the myostatin effect to see which way worked better for me. So just keep that in mind. YK11 is not something you want to run for a long time, and it's a very dry compound. Again, with my injury, don't let that reflect on the YK11. I was monkeying. I mean, I was pushing it. I could have done that natty. People hurt themselves, tear stuff natty all the time. Uh, it's like having a bike or a car. Okay, our cars, most vehicles, if you've ever driven, they'll do 90, 100, maybe 150 miles an hour. But it doesn't mean that you go 150 miles an hour down the road, you know. Obviously, you get close to that red line, you're likely to you're getting close to messing up some stuff in the car. It's like the same thing. Just because you have the power doesn't mean you have to use all of it. You can use some of it, and that's great, but not all. Just be careful when you're lifting with this stuff because of the strength gain and the what I want to call it the dryness of the tendons that the YK11 causes. Okay, so again, though I was pushing, and I had been pushing it, and I had been pushing the edge for a long time and got away with it. So it's not as bad as what they say. It really isn't, as far as drying you out. One more thing to note about YK11 is it's one of those compounds. It's legally classified as a steroid. I'm sorry, not a steroid. Legally classified as a SARM, but it also has the chemical structure of a steroid. Yes, it's a steroid. YK11 is in fact a steroid, but it's also a SARM because it's a selective steroid. Truthfully, Tren, from what I understand, is also technically a SARM, but no, that one's legally classified as a steroid. This one is not legally classified as a steroid, therefore it is available for research purposes only. It is legal to buy and sell for that. And let's see, this product should be handled by licensed qualified professionals. It's not a drug, food, cosmetic, blah, 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 right? All that type of stuff for sure. It's not FDA approved. YK11 has like the smallest studies out there off of, done from any of the least amount of clinical studies done than I think any SARM. LGD-43 has the most. Like I said, they're almost complete ends of the spectrum from each other. One's a wet compound, one's dry. One's almost FDA approved, the other one's far from it. Okay. This one, the LGD-43, is, from what I understand, in the final stages of clinical testing to be FDA approved and has been shown to be safe for human consumption. Not approved by the FDA. They haven't approved it, but clinical studies show that it has been, not safe for, but well tolerated in human consumption in the clinical studies for up to 20 milligrams. Okay, they've done they've done them. They're official. You can go on Google Scholar or dig through. You'll find the research results from the doctors, scientists, types of people that are doing the official research to get it to push it past and get it legal. Okay, that's kind of why these things are legal, so you can do some research on your lab rat, whatever it is you're doing it on, and then send in the results to the company, and help them to push it to get it FDA approved. I mean, that's why they're legal. Unfortunately, there's not any type of it's not required. It said should be handled by licensed, but there's no licensing required for SARMs. There's nothing. They sell it down here in two of the local supplement stores right down here in my hometown. I mean, it is what it is. There's some things that just are what they are. So, okay. Um, Before I end this video, I wanted to show you guys some pictures of me on the LGD-4033 YK11 stack. Now, again, this is probably about 2 months into my cycle or so. I believe this was when I took it towards the end. So I had done oral LGD for about a month and then bam, this for about another month. And oh my gosh. But here's a couple pictures of me. Of course, as everybody does, snuck in the old bathroom, snapped some pictures. But that's, you can see I have a little bit of water weight on me here. I'm a little fat already. It doesn't look like I am, but I'm a little fat. I'm not fat by any means, but look at my arm size. Okay, when I started off on this cycle, I think my arms were around 15 inches, and in in a month and a half, I gained probably an inch and a half of muscle on my arms. Okay, again, some of that is water weight, but not all of it. I guarantee I gained probably an inch of pure muscle on my arms within that month and a half. Okay, and for 47 years old, you're packing on an inch and a half a month. You're doing good. So, okay, there's that one picture there. You can see, kind of compare my size right now. I'm on D-ball, but I'm just starting to cycle, and I took some time off and such. Not a lot, but a little bit. Not bad, but so let's see. And then here's one where this is just from another day when I did the workout here. Um, but you can't see my arm, but you can see here in my chest now. You can see it better than that. It looked like other one almost looked like I was just fat. Here you can see the indentation where my shoulder's coming down. You can tell this isn't no blubbery fat, and that's the YK. And there is a layer of fat there, but not like it's not covering stuff up. And the YK was helping hold some of that water out, and you can see just how full I looked here. How full my muscle, especially right here in my chest and my shoulder. You're seeing a little bit of definition there. It's just I have that steroid look. I do. I have that. I have that full steroid look, and that's from the YK11 in it. Okay, and I'm not pumped right now. I'm totally dry. I don't pre-pump before my videos. Same size from when I started. I think I did that one time. I got a pump for a video, but it doesn't even make on camera. You can't tell that much, anyways. You can, but not that much. So, anyways, there's that. These are my results pictures. Okay, from it, the strength was insane. The pumps were insane. The side effects were minimal. Do your research before you jump into any type of a PED or even a fitness exercise program. Get clearance from your doctor. If you don't know what you're doing, get yourself a trainer. You got to start off with the basics. You got to learn to crawl before you can walk. Okay? And if you're young, I wouldn't touch this. I never touched any PED until I was in my 40s. And I've worked out for like 15 years. Never got big, but I mean, I decent size a few times. That was it. It was just how it was. So, anyways, this concludes the LGD-4033 injectable LGD-4033 YK11 injectable. You can see the price right there. Of course, there's going to be shipping. It's like $10 for shipping, but for you got to keep in mind you're not what it say. I mean, there was 50. It was 50. Oh yeah, right here. Oh, it doesn't say how many milliliters. How many milliliters was total in the bottle? 10 milliliters. 10 milliliters. So that's 10 shots at 50. And if you split it in half, that's 20 shots. If you do it daily, that's almost your month cycle right there. And if you do it a little bit lighter, this one bottle is going to stretch you for your whole month cycle. And then if it were me, I would just continue with the LGD 4033, or you can start off with this in the beginning. That's how I will do it from now on if I do this one again, and I will highly likely add this in even with real gear just because the results were so phenomenal. I mean, I'd like to try Anavar or I should say Anadrol or Anavar as far as for some strength gains to compare to it. And definitely, like I said, another source of the D balls. So we'll see. I'll do some more comparing. But so far, I mean, gosh, there's just no comparison about this. Um, and I'll put this link in here, even though it's not an affiliate link. I apologize about that. But I'll put this link in here, and I'll put a link to another company who has injectable SARMs. They're called Diamond Labs. They're good too. I've tried actually their semaglutide, but never their SARMs. But so because it's harder to find the injectable SARMs. So this is your source for injectable SARMs for your lab rat, right? We're injecting lab rats, right, to send in to send in their results to the company. Sounds good to me. Must be. All right. Well, this concludes the video. Stay smart. Oh, stay swole. Like I'm still not as good as on this stuff. Not even on real gear. Ah, I'll give it time though. But this was fire. Okay. Final conclusion. You want to see? You say SARMs don't work? Try it. Come on. Pin it, put your money where your mouth is. I do have a little bit I did have a little bit better results if I pinned 7 days a week rather than just pre-workout because it kept loaded in my system. But it's so fast acting, you can just pin this pre-workout, much like D-ball in the beginning. It's gonna be fire. All right, y'all. Have a great day. I really want to make this one bad because I hear so much, oh, SARMs don't work and this and that, blah blah blah. I didn't get anything. Yeah, come here, cupcake. You're gonna learn today. Because you will see SARMs do work. You're going to know about this one. So, all right. Peace out. Stay smart. Stay swole. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. I got more content coming. I haven't done a video in a while, but more content's coming, and it's going to be great, educational, and we're going to keep growing. Thanks. Stay smart. Stay swole. Have a great day.